Satsanga mukta dussambho Atumno sahate buddha Kirtyamanam yasho yasya Sakruda karnirochanam Tasminyastadhati partha Saheram viraham katham Darshanasparsha samlapa Shriyanasana bhojanam. Translation. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then would the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they have been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him. Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for studying Bhagavatam together. We have been studying the reactions of the Hastinapur Vasis to Lord's departure and how every single one of them gathered to give him a beautiful send-off, unwillingly. And this verse which we studied earlier talks about Satsanga Mukta Dussanga, a person who has come into good association of devotees and thus has given up bad association. Hatum no utsavate. He can never give up what? Kirtyamanam yasho yasya. Even once if he has heard the glories of the Lord in that pure association, he just cannot give up hearing it again and again. So this is Sakrut Akarya Rochana. So attractive are the qualities of the Lord, even once to hear. That's why we began with the Achyutashtaka in the beginning. Just to sing once through, you feel that was not sufficient. There should have been a little more of this. And that's why the question is asked, if this is the case of a person who just got freed from some bad association, having once heard the glories of the Lord, imagine what would be the situation of the Pandavas, who have spent so much of their time together with the Lord. Saheram viraham katham. How will they tolerate the separation? Darshana, sparsha, sanlapa, shayana, asana, bhojana. In all these various situations, they were always very intimately connected with Krishna. And now they have to give up Krishna's association. Saheram viraham katham. How can they give up this association? So, can you slow down these fans? No sounds. So the attraction becomes more intense depending on our personal contact with a person. Of course, with our spiritual master or devotees that we really love to associate with, we try and find out ways and means, somehow or other, to be in their association, physically also. And having experienced proximity that leads to elevation, purification, even semblance of affection for the Lord in their company, it is so difficult for us to sometimes leave that association and go do something else. In fact, every time we visit Dham for yatras, spiritual master comes and now he's going away for another engagement. We all should feel great separation. We should literally cry, feeling what is this? How can I live without these persons' association? Without these beautiful arrangements? That song, does it begin? Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Kutir Govardhana Parvata Janu objects, people, situations connected to Krishna. And then it concludes, "E sab chodata kahi nahi jaun, e sab chodata prana haram, bhakti vinoda kahe shuno kanha, tuya deepaka hamara parana." So I cannot give these things up. If I have to give them up, better I give up my life. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that whatever gives Krishna an impetus for his enjoyment, pleasure, is my life and soul. That very thing is my life and soul. So, when Srila Prabhupada would travel from America, one center to another center, or to come back to India, typically all his disciples would gather, especially at the airport. And there are many pastimes. One pastime is where Govinda Dasi, the early disciple of Srila Prabhupada, she was feeling so much separation that Prabhupada is going away. That while Prabhupada is sitting in the chair in the lobby of the airport, she went over him and took away the flight ticket, saying that you are not going anywhere. And Prabhupada looked at her, he appreciated her affection, but he said, "You cannot do that to your spiritual master." So all of us have our own, It is called, we feel satisfied but not satiated. In material life, we feel satiated but not satisfied. Like, hunger gets satiated, or desire for, sex. But one doesn't feel satisfaction at the end of the whole thing. Exactly opposite is spiritual. One feels completely satisfied with that one contact, one interaction, whatever, but not satiated. Ye dil mange more. Actually, all advertisements are about Krishna consciousness, if you really think about it. So now begins the discussion of how did Pandavas react to Lord's Pandavas or Hastinapurvasis to the Lord's departure. Sarve te nimishe akshayistam anudutachetasah vikshanta sneha sambandha vichedustatra tatraha. Translation.
All their hearts were melting for him out of attraction. They looked at him without blinking their eyes, and they moved deeper and deeper in perplexity.
Prabhupada gives beautiful purport. Essentially, he says Krishna is so attractive that in presence of Krishna, a jiva becomes bewildered as to what can I do and what can I not do for this person, for this Lord. So there are two kinds of madness, Prabhupada says. One is the madness of attraction for Krishna, and similarly is madness of attraction for Maya. Like you see people go, and when they're bewildered by Maya, they travel in this train, that train, go to this mall, that mall, this movie, that movie. Vichedus tatra tatrahi. They walk hither and thither, not knowing which shopping to have now and which enjoyment to accept at the moment. Completely bewildered by Maya. In fact, most of the traveling agencies, they flourish because people have this innate urge to want to explore new and different dimensions, personalities, places, things in the material world. But all these attraction of the material world is simply a fragment of attraction coming from Krishna. Yad yad vibhuti matsatvam Srimad Urjitam eva tattadeva vagachatvam mama teja amsha sambhavam. Krishna is saying these are all fragmental attractions. Imagine the original attraction coming from Krishna. And that is why it is not uncommon that these personalities are described exhibiting these type of behaviors. So, last line of the purport. Srimad Bhagavatam trains the conditioned soul to this stage of perfection by submissive hearing from the pure devotees. So how do we shift our attraction from matter to spirit? Sit and hear Srimad Bhagavatam from the lips of pure devotees, submissively. Nirundhan Udgalat Bashpam Utkanthya Devaki Sute Niryatya Agaran No Bhadram Itisya Bandhava Striyaha. Translation.
The female relative whose eyes were flooding with tears out of anxiety for Krishna came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears could cause misfortune at the time of departure.
This is typical. Even when I go home, my mother, on the day when I'm leaving, she wants to cry, but she thinks this will be inauspicious. If we cry at this moment, really try their best to give a smile, whatever to do. So, imagine, this is the attraction for a tiny jiva for Vatsalya that they feel for another. Not the original attraction. Krishna and the living entities must be sharing with each other. So therefore, they want to check their tears so that the tears don't cause inauspiciousness while departure. But the word Udgalat means the cry comes till the throat, but you don't cry. And Bashpam Aukanthyat, which means instead of releasing tears, sometimes the eyes release vapor. You have that experience? They become hot and they actually become very. So that's what they are feeling in their hearts. We are studying first canto, 10th chapter, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka, and we are on 14th verse. How Hastinapur Vasis reacted to Krishna's departure. So, these Bandhava Striyaha, relative ladies of Krishna in the palace, this is the first time you notice that they have come out of the palace. Usually they go up in the balcony. But the attraction is so great for Krishna that they don't follow the typical etiquette. They forget all that. They actually come out of their palace and want to meet Krishna personally. And then it says, the last line of the purport, our intimate relation with Krishna can be confidentially revived by our talking of, hearing of, or remembering him. It is so done due to spiritual potency. So I was wondering about this, what is meaning of confidentially revived? Our relationship with Krishna is confidentially revived. So what I figured out is that each of us have our personal private relationship with Krishna, which is very confidential. Although everybody has a relationship with Krishna, but ours is a very special one. And it has a particular flavor. And that is very confidential between us and Krishna only. Only two of us know exact nature of that relationship. No one else can understand what this exactly, this Jiva and this Lord is exchanging with each other. So that's why confidential. That's one meaning I have figured out. Confidentially revived. And by going on hearing Nama Rupa Guna Leela of Krishna, when Krishna becomes pleased, then he revives that relationship with us personally. He starts getting, so to say, involved, or he starts interfering. The more we go on hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, the more Krishna increases his involvement in our personal affairs with him. So that is the meaning of confidentially revived. Proportionate to our hearing, chanting quality, Krishna's reciprocation or involvement increases. Confidentially revived. Now comes favorite. This is cultural VCC, cultural center. So you can feel it there in Hastinapur. Mridanga Shankha Bheryascha Veena Panadavo Mukhaha Dhuriyana Ghantadya Nedurdundubhayastatha. Translation.
When the Lord was departing from the palace of Hastinapur, different types of drums, the mridanga, dola, nagara, dunduri, dundumi, and flutes of different types, the veena, gomukha, and deli, all sounded together to show the honor.
Quite a musical departure. So, it seems that these are all traditional instruments coming from the spiritual world. It's not like, some mortal being invented them, for pleasure of enjoying music in the material world. Mridanga comes from the spiritual world. Dhol, nagade, dunduri and dundubi. So I tried finding out about this because I am a percussion instrument player myself. I was interested. What will attract in Bhagavatam to whom? You cannot tell. So I figured out that Dhunduri is a drum that has got, in our Kolhapur, there is Jhanz Pathak. So in Pune also they have. So there are drums. On one hand, they play the bass very nicely. And on another side, they play the treble very nicely. But they have to be played with the help of sticks. You cannot play them with hands. The hand is not sufficient. You need that, impact energy generated by the gyration movement of the whatever that you are playing. You have to bang it loud and then only it plays the sound. So this is called Dhunduri. And Dundubhi is that round one which is played by both hands. And Nagada is a small one. So Dundubi is a huge one, Nagada is a small one. Version of that. So, and Anaka, Ghanta, Atyaha Nedu. So it seems Vedic culture is quite musical. We hear similar description at the beginning of battlefield also in Bhagavad Gita. Padavanaka Gomukhaha Sahasaiva Bihanyanta Sashabdas Tumulo Bhavat. And Prabhupada says Tumula comes from, Tamalchuas comes from Tumula, in Sanskrit. So, quite musical people. Even before war, they have nice music. Let's have a war, don't kill each other. Quite culturally astounding personalities, Vedic people. So here, send-off is being given, and we also have in our temple, when sannyasis are departing, everybody comes together, they have Budan Karta, singing, dancing. Festival hota hai. पीने वालों को पीने का बहाना चाहिए. Like that, festival मनाने वालों को festival मनाने का बहाना चाहिए. For us, any occasion is grand. If a child is born, festival. Somebody passed away, another festival. Somebody got married, festival. Somebody first time came to temple, festival. So everything is like a occasion. It is called animitta nimitta. There is no occasion, so you make that as an occasion and have a festival. Prasada Shikhararudha Gurunayo Didukshaya Krusho Kusamai Krishna Prema Vrida Svitekshanaha. Translation.
Out of loving desire to see the Lord, the royal ladies of the Kuru got up on the top of the palace, and smiling with affection and shyness, they showered flowers on the Lord.
So there are those who came out of the palace, and I guess those are most intimate personalities like Kunti and others. They are on the road with the Lord. And there are others who either couldn't see the Lord properly because of the crowd, or they wanted to get a better view. So they go up. So what is the shyness that is talked about So, two things. Those ladies are shy to be upfront in public. So that's hesitant to be upfront. And secondly, not wanting to enjoy the attention of others is the meaning of shyness. Interesting definition. Not wanting to enjoy the attention given by others. Generally, people will say ladies generally decorate themselves so that they get attention of others. What are you talking that, you know? But it is an interesting thing that they decorate themselves nicely, but their decoration and beauty is for specific people only in their family. Okay. And of course for the Lord's pleasure. Not for anybody and everybody to see. Nowadays, I saw one devotee had a WhatsApp. So while he was going through the WhatsApp, they have that side round thing that is called as the picture of the day. What is it? DP, display picture. DP. So that DP, nowadays people don't even know that you should not put very attractive looking picture of yourself. Hare Hare. So you should not put very attractive looking picture of yourself. What to speak of your daughter or child or like that. So what is this concept of Nazar Lagna? We all are aware that if somebody glances over you with a desire to enjoy your beauty, they tend to send a very, very powerful, subtle vibration, signal that contaminates your consciousness and disturbs your well-being. So that's why the picture you should put is like a plain looking, simple, if at all you have to put the picture. Otherwise you better put Krishna's picture. You go, okay, Krishna is going to And if at all we have to put our picture because of whatever business reasons, people have to identify us. In on my Skype account, I put a picture of a small boy offering pranams. And Gopal Bhatta Prabhu will every time ask, who is this small boy? I will Bala Govinda. So better not put your picture. But if you have to put a picture that people don't get too attracted to, that's the clue. And that's just to put Krishna's picture or whatever suits the occasion, but never your children and your family and all that. So we have to be careful because that has its own repercussions. So the ladies were very careful that what is this parda system and sitting inside some palanquin while going outside. I used to feel that's quite nice, that men will carry you. You nicely sit there. And from inside you enjoy, you don't have to walk. Quite a treatment, respectful treatment given to ladies. Nowadays you have to take out your bike or whatever. It's so pathetic, this kind of lifestyle. So we have to appreciate this cultural insights that Bhagavatam offers. And also try and live by them as closely as possible. Of course, don't demand palanquins from your husbands or... But at least we should try to cover ourselves properly, not be very upfront and wanting to enjoy attention of others when in public. Now people who are demoniac, or especially leaders of such demoniac civilizations, they may not want to hear these things we are talking about. They may say, oh, what happens to women's liberation? What happens to co-education? What happens to job opportunities for women, equal status? The problem is, the more you show, the less attractive it becomes. Whether it is your body, whether it is your mind, whether it is your intellect, or whether it is your spiritual advancement. The more you want to show off these things, thinking that, oh, by showing this off, others will appreciate, then I will enjoy the attention. actually by showing it off, it's like kasturi. When it is concealed, or a diamond concealed, it preserves its beauty. In the same manner, all these things, our personal beauty, physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, one has to conceal it. It is only meant to be enjoyed by few people in this world. Krishna, spiritual master, few of our superior devotees, whatever. Not for everybody. And when not followed this standard, we not only lose those potencies, but we also become cause of others losing their potency. Because everybody then starts acting in this manner. They want to show off. And the result is there is Varna Sankar. Unqualified men and women mingle with each other. All kinds of horrible progenitors are produced. And eventually, we see what is happening around. The media, the advertisement, and the movie industry is a typical outcome of Varna Sankar population, wanting very, very low class enjoyments in their life. So, and this trend can go to an extent where one displays one's sexual assets simply to get some kind of assets that they think are valuable to be enjoyed in life. So we are supposed to preserve so that we can enjoy at a different level. We are thinking by displaying we are going to get enjoyment, which is a wrong thought. So, purport, 10th line. Okay, let's begin as it is. First line. Shyness is a particular extra-natural beauty of the fair sex. And it commands respect from the opposite sex. And Prabhupada could have gone typically into the purport with, oh, those devotees, they're feeling so much for Krishna and some kind of very emotional stuff. Prabhupada is giving cultural values, to his followers. This custom was observed even during the days of Mahabharata. It is only the less intelligent persons, not well versed in the history of the world, who say that the observance of separation of male-female is an introduction of the Mohammedan period in India. So there is the strict Parda system, restricted association with men. Parda doesn't necessarily mean in their own chambers they are completely free to do whatever they like to do. Instead of coming down in the open air where Lord Krishna and others were assembled, the ladies of the palace went up on the top of the palace, and from there they paid their respects to Lord Krishna by showers of flowers. It is definitely stated here that the ladies were smiling there, which means they are happy in that system that they followed. They were smiling there on the top of the palace, checked by shyness, they were smiling. So when they remain shy and they follow God-given system, they smile. This shyness is a gift of nature to the fair sex, and it enhances their beauty and prestige. Even if they are of a less important family, or even if they are less attractive, still they gain beauty and prestige. We have practical experience of this. Asviparuman commanded the respect of many of us simply by manifesting a lady's shyness. So we know that story. Prabhupada and his godbrother were talking in an alley, and the sweeper lady, Bhangi, as they call them, she wanted to clean the road. And because they were absorbed in their talk, she couldn't pass through to clean. So she stood in one corner, completely covered. And after that, the friend looked at her and he understood actually she needs to do her service and we are blocking her way. So they immediately parted ways, very respectfully, went somewhere else. And then she came like a Maharani, being in a situation which was welcoming to her. Immediately commands respect. Half-naked ladies in the street do not command any respect. But a shy sweeper's wife commands respect from all. Now, this brings in the topic, what dresses should our children wear? So, some devotees, they feel that, oh, you cannot just, not follow the norms of the current society around. They have to have those Mickey Mouses and Donald Ducks, and they have to have some whatever type of dresses they wear. Others are traditionalists, they say forget it. Nothing short of our traditional, everything immaculate, Vedic costumes. So, there are three basic considerations. Whatever we wear must be presentable. That commands respect, which means no ostentatious display of personal beauty. And third, it does not agitate the minds of others. And according to occasion and situation, demands, warrants, we should wear our dresses. Very simple. So it may mean we may wear actually suit, tie, coat, boot if I have to go to a function, or wear, what is it called? When the men wear in the marriages? Sherwani. Sherwanis. Whatever it takes to make an occasion appropriate, but following these basic ground rules. So as Hare Krishnas, we may say, Prabhu, har jagah dhoti kurta pehan ke jana chahiye. If it is welcomed, and if people are going to, the purpose of our public presence is to generate favorable mood towards our movement in their hearts, because that adds Adnyata Sukruti in their life. They think, oh, these people are so nice and clean. So depending on the occasion and the personalities around, we can choose to wear a particular type of dress. But at the same time, when we are on our own occasions, for example, we are going for yatras, or we are going for Harinam Sankirtan, that type of an occasion, we will choose to wear our own attires, that are Vaishnava, and not bother about public. Hare Krishna. Human civilization, as conceived by the sages of India, is to help one free himself from the clutches of illusion. Ya vidya sa vimuktaye. Civilization, through education, culture, is aimed at mukti, liberation from matter. The material beauty of a woman is an illusion because actually the body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, etc. But because there is association of the living spark with matter, it appears to be beautiful. No one is attracted by earthen doll, even if it is most perfectly prepared to attract the attention of others. The dead body has no beauty because no one will accept the dead body of a so-called beautiful woman. Therefore, the conclusion is that the spirit spark is beautiful, and because of the soul's beauty, one is attracted by the beauty of the outward body. The Vedic wisdom therefore forbids us to be attracted by false beauty. But because we are now in the darkness of ignorance, the Vedic civilization allows very restricted mixing of woman and man. They say that the woman is considered to be fire and man is considered to be butter. The butter must melt in association with fire. Therefore, they may be brought together only when it is necessary. And shyness is the check to the unrestricted mixing. It is nature's gift and it must be utilized. And nothing about those ladies, bhava bhakti or anything like that. Lower purport. This is speciality of Prabhupada. So what to do with the ladies that come to our congregations? Three things. Arrange for their physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual care separately. There should be systems for that, as much as possible. Second is, in preaching, counseling and management, we should also try and maintain segregations. Right? Women preach to women, women counsel to women, do services of management with other women as far as possible. And everyone should be well sheltered under someone. whether man or woman. Any comments or questions? Of course, I'm sitting in India and all of you are very cultural devotees already. So I remember I was thinking, if I go to US, how will I speak about this paragraph? This is like, it's not there in the genes now anymore. Anyways.
He said you should be getting the command is some is the way they dress. Every time we see these three things are always there. So in that case, not necessarily the opposite sex, we are idiots. So it agitates someone. So how do we tell them that this is not right in a positive way? Of course, it might be agitating for the other party also, but for the ladies itself also it's agitating. So
How somebody is fully covered, presentable?
no. I mean to say, that is, as you said, if you are going for a marriage, you have to wear a particular type of dress. If you are coming to a temple, you wear a particular type of dress. In a temple also you come and you are, you are fully covered, but yet you are agitating. It is agitating. So how do you convey it? Means
This is little Greek and Latin for me, I think.
it is not for the occasion. That occasion does not demand that. The counter does not demand that. And how do you tell the opposite person?
How do we correct any devotee in our life? That's a good question to ask. About anything in the world. So we go, fold our palms before them and humble ourselves that I am a fool number one and expert at fault finding. I have great respect and love for you, and because of which I want to present something before you which may not be very palatable. Do I have your permission to do so? But I want to assure you that even after observing or knowing or speaking these things, my affection for you does not change in any way. So after they give you permission, then you may mention that you fully cover yourself, yet somehow it is very agitating. I don't know what exactly are the solutions for that 1, 2, 3. And if this can be adopted, it will greatly enhance our internal harmony, beauty and productivity of our Krishna consciousness. And then you have to obeisance to them after that. Vancha kalpataru vashya. And then give them a nice prasadam. So thank you. And please let me know if I am also making some mistakes that are correctable so that I don't become a cause of disruption for others. So any genuine Vaishnava who is honest won't mind this type of correction given by a friend or a fellow devotee. But we have to create that favorable environment in the heart first. The way we generally look at this type of Vaishnavas is, we have an assumption already, yeah, I say that kind of a thing, without knowing the complete, maybe the cultural backgrounds, the upbringing, the training that they have received in the past, their current job status, who they work for, where they work with. But we see that one time zone and particular place as a judgmental frame, which we need not get so much.
Can you not look at it in a way, like if that particular devotee is correct in his way of dressing, if we are getting agitated, the fault lies somewhere within us and we should...
Possible. That's why I said I really don't know what this whole thing about if that person is well dressed. Why should we get agitated about it in the first place? Of course, it is true that sometimes you really are well dressed, and because you look so beautiful because of that, you become cause of agitation. It's possible. So that's our problem. Yes.
2 questions. One, as you said that we have to be humble and we don't know the background. But if we know the background and we know that he is not that type of person who will be humbly, should we take other steps or we should still be humble?
No, why should you take other steps? Are they your friend or not? Are they your counselee? Who are they?
No, suppose if some attack is from their side or something like that, so still we should be humble all the time or depends on the situation?
My point is, to correct another person, you just need four things. You need authority over them. You need a personal relationship.
Right.
You need a right intent, no malicious intent.
Right.
Intent, no malice in the heart. And you should not have that fault that you are correcting. So, if these four things are there, you go correct whoever you want, but correct in a manner that brings encouragement and engagement, not discouragement and disengagement. So that is art of correction, in short. Second question.
Second question, when you were saying about the DP point of the
DP, display picture.
So it happens if like in the DP it can happen in physical also, that what you said, that nazar and all that.
Yeah.
So
You can imagine all these heroes, heroines who are displaying themselves on the screen so much. Everybody was sitting there, watching them with so much lust and everything. What kind of vibrations are they attracting for themselves?
So
Even though they are physically not present, they are on the screen. Still, the thought waves, cumulative thought waves of so many people, geared up in a certain direction towards you.
so thought effects. So
It's not that somebody has to literally pounce on you and enjoy your physical body or something. Even the thought of doing so can hamper your well-being in life. At least subtle level.
So when it comes to children, how to protect them with all these things? It happens every day.
How to protect our children from the Zalman? Well, this is little. I don't know any black magic or any of the such things, but my personal point of view is that, like Mother Yashoda did for Krishna, she puts a date, she has a cow tail that she takes over his body, and she chants some mantras that are meant for special protection. Some Narsimha mantra and this and that, and she also ensures that he is well fed and well cared for in all circumstances, never neglected in his care, and she does not allow people whom she is not very sure to interact with him, including Lord Shiva, who comes to can I have a glance over him. So, not allowed. So I think these are some known things to me about this topic. Okay, so we go ahead. How was this topic? Text 17. Sitadapatram jagraha Muktadam vibhushitam Ratnadandam Gudakesha Priyam Priyatamasya. Translation.
At that time, Arjuna, the great warrior and conqueror of sleep, who is an intimate friend of the most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with the lace and pearls.
Purport: gold, jewels, pearls, valuable stones were all used in the luxurious royal ceremonies. These are all nature's gifts. They're coming from hills and oceans by the order of the Lord. When man does not waste his valuable time producing unwanted things in the name of necessities, plastic, rubber, and other stuff. By so-called development of industrial enterprises, they are now using pots of gutta parcha instead of metals like gold, silver, brass and copper. They are using margarine instead of purified butter. And 1/4 of the city population has no shelter. I don't know where Prabhupada observed that. In Calcutta most probably. So Prabhupada is giving a contrast between that civilization and this civilization. Okay, what we should use and what we should avoid. Simple living does not mean impoverished life. It simply means less artificial and less complex life. Makes sense? That is simple. So sometimes we think simple means want tattered clothes, stitched around, and no shaving for many days. That is simple living. No. Less artificial, less complex. Device systems in life that we have ample time for spirituality, as minimum time needed for material activities that are made for self-preservation. Okay.
What is that? Buddha Darshan?
Gupta Parcha, I think, is a Chini Mati's एक तत्व है. The Chinese make those bottles. I think nowadays they are not so much in trend. But we use a lot of plastic, knowingly or unknowingly. Another Sita Patram. Atapatra. Atapa means heat of the sun. Tra means trayate. Atapatra. That which protects you from the heat of the sun. And who hold it? For Krishna, Gudakesha. Arjuna personally was carrying a royal umbrella over the head of Krishna, his friend. Uddhavassamtyakeshchaiva Yajane Paramadbhute Vikiryamana Kusumaihi Reje Madhupati Pati. Translation.
Uddhava and Satyaki began to fan the Lord with decorated fans, and the Lord, as master of magic, seated on scattered flowers, commanded them around the world.
It seems that Lord is seated in some chariot, on the bed of which are the scattered flowers, and someone is standing beside him holding the Atapatra, and there are two fellows on either side, Uddhava and Satyaki, who are, while walking down the road or I don't know, in the chariot, are simultaneously fanning him with decorated fans. So everything in Vedic culture is very personal. This fan is a very impersonal system of giving air to somebody. And you don't want to spend that time and energy sitting next to the person. Literally. So in earlier days, everything was very personal before the invention of all this technology. Technology does two things. और TTM culture लेके आता है. तेरा तू मेरा मैं. Nobody is dependent on anybody else anymore. And technology also does another thing. It creates a complex system by which we have to spend enormous amount of time other than essential activities in life. For the essentials, we have no time. But for non-essentials, we have ample engagements that we have to participate in. So these are the benefits of having technology. Shruyanta Shisha Satya Tatra Tatra Vijerita Nanurupanurupascha Gunasya Gunatmanaha. Translation.
It was being heard here and there that the benedictions being paid to Krishna were neither benefiting nor unbenefiting.
Befitting, not unbefitting.
Befitting nor unbefitting, because they were all for the Absolute, who was now playing the part of a human being.
Somebody says to Krishna, Chirayu Bhava. Some Brahmana. Now, is it befitting? Come on, he is eternal. What Chirayu? And someone says, no, it is not unbefitting. Because Krishna, being a cynosure of everyone's eyes, and Brahmanas feeling affection for him, are saying a blessing that is spontaneously coming to their mouth. Befitting, it's not unbefitting. Or somebody says to Krishna, may you have no enemies, or may you flourish in your rule or your influence over others. Befitting, unbefitting. How do you decide? So that's why the meaning is Ashruyanta. There are many Ashisha, lots of benedictions being heard at that time. Satyaha Tatra. In that occasion they may sound okay. But if you look at them without the occasion, somebody giving such a benediction to Krishna, you laugh at that person. So that is why Tatra Tatra Dvija Irita. Dvija means Brahmanas, Irita means they are saying out loud those benedictions for the Lord. Like in our typical Balaji temple, you go, the first prayer that you hear. Shriya Kantaya Kalyana Nidhaye Nidhaye Arthinam Shri Venkata Nivasaya Shri Nivasaya Mangalam Bhagavan Aapki Mangalo. Oh my goodness! No, who is saying to whom? That's an interesting prayer to recite. In fact, I used to get upset with that prayer every time I see it. That comes from a difficult mood, that Lord is a king who the Brahmanas are blessing. But we are not in that stature when we go in Balaji's temple to utter that type of feelings towards him. So I was telling them, put another prayer which is Aham durataste padambhoja yudma praname chayagatya seva karomi sakrut sevaya nitya seva phalantum prayacha prabho venkatesha. Oh Lord, I am coming from far off for your service. For this little service that I am rendering to you, give me one benediction. Eternal service at your lotus feet. Sakrut sevaya nitya seva phalam tvam prayacha. So that's a little more appropriate according to me. But nevertheless, I am currently going there and offering that same prayer also. So these are the prayers we are supposed to offer, not offer. Benedictions offer or not offer? So that's the question. Nana anurupa ananurupa cha. Appropriate also, not appropriate also. This kind of benedictions. Why? Nirgunasya gunatmanaha. Now, this is an interesting term. Lord is absolute. He has no material qualities. He has no distinctions that we can figure out within him, such as heat, cold, pleasure, displeasure, etc. Yet, Gunatmanaha, he is currently playing the role of a human being. Gunatmanaha does not mean he has taken form made up of gunas. Gunatmanaha means he has accepted to deal with the modes in a way that human beings can relate to him at their human interaction level. So that is the meaning of acceptance. He is not overcome by the modes. He has dealt with them in a way that other human beings can connect and exchange affection with him. Gunatmana. Prabhupada gives very nice things in the Bhagavad. Krishna is sometimes described as a thief. He is very famous as Makancho. He used to steal butter from the houses of neighbors. Since then he is famous as thief. अभी वो बहुत बड़े भी हो गए, बाद में जाके राजा वगैरह हो गए, फिर भी वो नाम तो गया नहीं ना. It's like that naked Pancho story that we hear applied on Krishna. कि वो Makancho became a standard name, to be called for all time to come. But in spite of his being famous as a thief, he is worshipped as a thief. Whereas in the mundane world, a thief is punished and never praised. Since he is the absolute personality of Godhead, everything is applicable to him, and still, in spite of all contradictions, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So we had done this exercise some time back. Is Krishna man or a woman? Is it both? Is Krishna black or white? Both. Is Krishna truthful or liar? Is it both? Is Krishna within everything or outside of everything? You can be one at a time, right? We say both. And they say, well, is Krishna old or young? Adyam Pura Purusham Navayovanam. The oldest guy and full of youthfulness. You know, he's old and young both. And is Krishna knowledgeable or ignorant? Both. He knows everything. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani chavedam bhavishani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kasana, he is saying. And there is, I don't know how much love Srimati Radharani has for me. Maybe I should taste it by taking her robe. There are so many things he doesn't know. Like he's putting that toe in the mouth, wondering what is the nectar that these fellows taste when they worship my lotus feet. So these are kind of behaviors of an ignorant person. Someone who doesn't know something, he will do those things. Right? So in this way we can go on listing attributes of Krishna that are completely contradictory. But they can only simultaneously coexist in his person. No one else can have it. So that is why Prabhupada is saying this last line. Anyonyamasit sanjalpa uttama shloka chetasa Gauravendra pulastreenam sarvashruti manoharaha. Translation.
Absorbed in all of transcendental qualities.
Absorbed in all of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is glorified in select poetry. The ladies on the roof of all the houses of Hastinapura began to talk of him. This talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas.
Yeah. This is called transcendental prajalpa. You know, ladies, they are expert especially at these things. Anyonyam asit sanjalpa. They were gossiping with each other. What? Uttama shloka chetasa. Absorbed in the thoughts of Uttama shloka, the Lord who is glorified in choice poetry. So Uttama shloka is a very befitting name of Krishna. Like we have this Avanita Naya Kamaniya Karam Rajani Karacharu Mukhamburuham Rajani Chararajatamo Mihiram Mahaniya Maham Raghuramamaye. Even this song which we sang in the beginning. Hari Om, kya ho gaya? You know, sir. This sh, k and r. धेनुकारिष्टको निष्टकृद्वेषिणां केशिहा कंसरद् वंशिका वादक पूतना गोपक सूरजा केलनो बालगोपादक पातु मां सर्वदा. This is going even more better. विद्युद्योतवत् प्रस्फुरद् वाससं प्रावुढत् बोधवत् प्रोल्लसत् विग्रहम्. It's like you put a break at the right spot. You know. वन्यया मालया शोभितो रस्थलं लोहितां धृद्वयं वारिजाक्षं भजे कुञ्चितै कुन्तलै भ्राजमानाननं रत्नमौलिं लसत्कुण्डलं गण्डयो हारकेयूरकं कङ्कणप्रोज्वलं किङ्किणी मञ्जुलं श्यामलं तं भजे. So love, everywhere is ka and love. So this kind of poetry is called Uttama Shloka. And one who is glorified by that type of poetry is called, again, Uttama Shloka. So Uttama Shloka Chetasa. So all of us should learn this. We should also recite Uttama Shloka, Bhagavatam, every now and then. So to become Uttama Shloka Chetasa. And then the last word, Sarva Shruti Manohara. So Prabhupada says this talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. So there are many examples of this. In the pastimes of Krishna and the gopis, sometimes Krishna is pretending as if he is sleeping. But he is actually hearing all the transcendental prajalpa that the gopis are doing about him. So they are talking sometimes his praise, sometimes they are talking all kinds of criticism of him, sometimes they are chastising or speaking ill of him. And Krishna is pretending as if he is sleeping. And they sometimes come over and see also whether it is awake or what. So that's how attractive this Prajalpa is even to the Lord. Another example is when Yashoda Maya put Krishna in the place below Shakatasura. And at that time, just before putting there, she had fed him breast milk, and the Brahmanas who had assembled for Krishna's whatever festival, they were reciting Veda mantras, Shruti mantras. Arihi Om Sham no Mitra Sham Arunaha Sham no Bhavat Aryaha Sham no Indra Bruhaspati. And Krishna went to sleep. Hearing all this. And Mother Yashoda thought, wow, very nice. I have slept, she put him up below the Shaktasura and went away to do her household activities. And it is said that when the Shruti mantras are recited, Krishna goes to sleep, and when the gopis have to wake him up, they sing his glories in the Braja Bhasha, which is very, very simple but very endearing at the same time. And by hearing these words, Krishna becomes wide awake to hear the glories. And therefore, Sarva Shruti Manoharaha is, this kind of talk is more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. And there is another meaning given to this word by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He says, Sarva Shruti Manoharaha means even Shruti's minds, personified Vedas, their minds were attracted by this kind of talk between the ladies. So that was the attractive power of their Prajalpa. And then Prabhupada begins his powerful tapo. This is anything sung in the praise of the Lord is Shruti mantra. There are songs of Thakur Narottam Das, composed in simple Bengali. Thakur Vishwanath Chakravarti, another very learned Acharya, has approved the songs of Narottam Das to be as good as Vedic mantras. And this is so because of the subject matter. And then comes the powerful line, the language is immaterial, but the subject matter is important. The ladies who are all absorbed in the thought and actions of the Lord develop the consciousness of Vedic wisdom by the grace of the Lord. And therefore, although such ladies might not have been very learned scholars in Sanskrit or otherwise, still whatever they spoke was more attractive than the Vedic hymns. Another reason Prabhupada gives why Vedic hymns are not attractive to Krishna is because often they don't address his Bhagavan feature. They address his Paramatma or Brahman feature. The Vedic hymns in the Upanishads are sometimes indirectly directed to the Supreme Lord. But the talks of the ladies were directly spoken of the Lord. Thus they were more pleasing to the heart. Now earlier was the description of Brahmanas giving benedictions. Now is the description of ladies talking Prajalpa. The ladies' talks appear to be more valuable than the learned Brahmanas' benedictions. So Prabhupada ka conclusion hai. Prabhupada gives that. Similarly, in our preaching also, we should develop this ability to attract the hearts of others by purely glorifying Krishna, no matter which language we know. It is not that we have to become Sanskrit scholars, have so many shlokas, and then develop some kind of charismatic presentation style. None of these things matter. If you love Krishna and you go and glorify about him to other people, they will become attracted. No matter how crude or what is the word exactly in Bhagavatam? Abadhavadhyati. Namani anantasya shonkitani yat. Shrunavanti gayanti brunanti. Abadhavadhyati. Not very well composed, grammatical mistakes, no ornamentations and similes, metaphors, nothing. Plain, bland, truth made plainer. Like our Jayadeva Maharaj. Somebody asked him, Maharaj, whom should we serve? Krishna or our old invalid parents? You ought to become brahmachari. Maharaj said Krishna is the oldest parent. सबसे oldest. अपने बूढ़े माता पिता की सेवा कर बेटा. आश्रम join कर. So that kind of Jayadeva has plain words there, but they are so powerful. There are many who have joined ashram after hearing these things. It's not that you recited some Sanskrit and quoted something. You know, just few words you will speak. वृद्धाश्रम को ज्वाइन करो. सबसे ओल्ड पेरेंट बैठे हो, उनकी सेवा करो. राधा कृष्ण. So interesting words. So Maharaj calls it plain vanilla. Plain vanilla made plainer. So truths are spoken so plainly, you cannot miss the truth. You know, and then eventually not miss following it. So all of us should not worry so much कि प्रभु वो देखो वो गौर गोपाल का लेक्चर कैसा रहता है, वो इनका देखो गौरांग का लेक्चर, how this fellow, that fellow. You know, we have all these tensions in our head. If I have to go on stage and have to speak about Krishna, I should not fall short of any of these parameters that I have set for myself. You'll get exhausted. Try and do that. So we are what we are. Sometimes 2 people come in our class, 15,000, sometimes 10,000 people come. How does it matter? We are not glorifying Krishna for our popularity. We are glorifying Krishna, as we discussed earlier. Confidential, what was that? Confidentially revealed things. The things that happen in between. You know? So that's what we are seeking actually through our preaching. So we should not be shy or overly concerned about our quality of presentations. We should go and make it as best as we can. This is not to say that we should not learn those things like shloka recitation, Vaishnava songs, appropriate grammar. These are also then important after having this understanding. So we end there. Any comments or questions? One devotee was commenting to me, especially observing Mayapur's Srimati Radharani, Radha Madhav's Radharani. And no matter how gorgeously dressed her, she still looks very simple. All Radharanis in general, I don't know how many of you make this observation. And no matter how gorgeously dressed Srimati Radharani, she still looks very, very simple and profound. A very different type of a beauty. Now generally if a lady, I'm not sorry, you know, they put all this, you know, things on their face, hands, legs, neck, nose, everywhere, you know, hair. And look at that fellow, looks so artificial and ugly sometimes. The more you decorate somebody, they actually go on becoming, so to say, removed from the reality. And thus very untruthful, not so attractive. No. Srimati Radharani is not like that. And I have seen there are various types of pujaris who dress her in, I don't know what all ways. Every pujari has own. But still, her form always is like very plain and simple. Very attractive. Like that our classes should be. Let me give. So we end there. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Pramanande.